Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to another Freelance Mum class assembly. It's lovely to see you here. Thanks for joining me. It's always great to have a roundup of what's been going on in the Mothership this week, take a look at some of your best fits, as well as shining the light on our Freelance Mum Star of the Week. And coming up in this morning's class assembly, well, we'll be hearing from this week's podcast, myself and Laura Rawlings caught up with Anna Mapson from Goodness Nutrition, finding out how we can keep those colds at bay. Really important. I don't know if you're like me. I'm quite sure as soon as your little ones went back into school or playgroup, they've already come back with a sniffle. Sniffles we can deal with, can't we? But it's good to keep them at bay. So there'll be lots of advice coming up from Anna Mapson. We'll also be playing you out once again with our Freelance Mum Anthem. I love watching our Freelance Mum Anthem. It's always worth getting the sound up, listening to the words as we hear from Rachel Mason and her daughter Layla as they sing us out. And of course, more importantly, having a look at your business offerings. So make sure that you watch all the way to the very end for our Freelance Mum class assembly as you watch our Freelance Mum Anthem right at the very end. But without any further ado, it is time to have a look at our Freelance Mum Star of the Week. So let's have a look then. It's high tech meets low tech. Here is the battered gold envelope and a chance to find out who our I'm really excited. I genuinely am always really excited to find out who our Freelance Mum Star of the Week is. And you'll know why in a moment. So, dun, 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 dun. Freelance Mum Star of the Week is, as written in my own fair hand, da, da, da. It's Jodie Moss. Congratulations to you, Jodie. I am so pleased, genuinely so pleased that you are our Freelance Mum Star of the Week. Lots and lots of reasons, and I can't find them. Why you are our Freelance Mum Star of the Week. I'll tell you what, I'll read them off my phone. This is the easiest way to do it. And including the fact that I've just seen you in the playground and you offered to help me when it came to getting my keys were stuck in my bicycle lock. And I know that you will appreciate this. Never much fun when you have that, oh my goodness, there's my entire key fob stuck in my bike lock. What am I going to do moment? And Jodie offered to help me with her essential oils, getting the keys out of the lock. So Jodie, thank you very much. We didn't have to quite resort to that at that point in time, but we love you being our Freelance Mum Star of the Week, and there's lots and lots of reasons for that, including, well, Monday was the first day of the week where both your boys were in school, with the youngest two. The oldest is obviously already there. So it was a really, really big milestone moment for you, knowing that they were both in school today. And I know they were struggling a bit on the last day of the week, and who can blame them? Hope there's something nice for you all to celebrate the end of the week with. Tuesday, I loved seeing your interactions on our Tuesday takeover. In fact, you'd already said how much you loved reading all the answers the other freelance mums had popped in. And of course, it was Sarah Newland, our previous Star of the Week, who'd set the Tuesday focus question. I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with next Tuesday, Jodie. And you said, can I copy and paste some of the answers, please? Wednesday, when we ask if you are jumping or grumping, you were jumping. You were absolutely jumping because you had a bit of me time back, and rightly so. You've waited for this moment for a long time. And you also asked, did anyone know if anyone was running any paediatric first aid training courses in Bristol? And it's always nice when we see all those interactions going on at Jodie. And your Thursday gubbins, where you've been working on your session plans for your toddler classes. And I love this, 24 glittery show dance hats were sitting on your kitchen table. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see all those glittery hats. I hope they're all in one piece still. If they're anything like my children, as soon as they see something rather nice, they grab it. And that's rather annoying, isn't it? But anyway, congratulations to you, Jodie. We think you're absolutely ace. Here we are. Here is your certificate. Print it out. Pop it on your fridge, or pop it in the comments below, because I think it's very right, fit and proper that you should have your certificate and golden moment as well. You are our Freelance Mum Star of the Week. We think you're simply awesome, and I cannot wait to see your Tuesday takeover question. Before we go into our podcast and this week's interview with Anna Mapson, I just want to remind you as well that it is our Freelance Mum Nets Walk taking place next Friday. That's on Friday, the 25th of September, taking place at Ashton Court. And it goes without saying that, of course, it will be socially distanced, and we'll be working to the rule of 6. And we've got lots of fun ways of doing that without spoiling from your experience at Freelance Mum. There won't be a guest speaker on this occasion. Instead, we've got an activity for you in your groups to enjoy under the trees together. So don't forget to book your place for the Freelance Mum Network taking place next Friday at Ashton Court. And if you've not joined us before at Freelance Mum, you can come and try us for free for 30 days. So check out the taster ticket. It's always lovely to see you. And you can find us on freelancemum.co.uk. Right then, it's over then to our Freelance Mum podcast. And this week, myself and Laura had a chance to chat to Anna Mapson. And it was a real joy to speak to her and find out more about what we can do to keep those colds at bay. She says, "Why does this always happen? Let's see if we can do it properly, shall we?" Oh, fiddlesticks! Do we have to stop? Right, I tell you what, let's go out to instead our Freelance Mum Anthem. We'll do it in a slightly back to front way, and we will come to our podcast in a moment. So let's do this in a back to front fashion, and we'll find everything in a moment.
If you're jumping or grumping, we're here for you. There's sharing and caring, and yummy cake too. With Faye at the helm of the Mothership, we're all on board for an awesome trip. If you're true to yourself and follow your dream, you'll change the world and break the old routine. Out of the rat race and into the sun, hear us roar, we are Freelance Mum. 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 We are Freelance Mum.
Mummy's my hero. We are kitty. Mummy shows me I can follow my dream. She's brave and clever. Shines like a sun.
We're so proud to be a part of Freelance Mum.
There we go. That was our Freelance Mum Anthem, played in a slightly back to front order. And hopefully we can now bring to you instead our Freelance Mum podcast. We might even have a sneaky second play of it as well, because it's just so lovely to see all your lovely moments. So let's see now if we can go over to our podcast. Hello and welcome to the Freelance Mum podcast as part of the Freelance Mum Class Assembly. And joined with myself and Laura Rawlings this week is Anna Mapson, a fellow freelance mum. And Anna Mapson is also a nutritionist from Goodness Me Nutrition. And she joins us today on an all-important subject. And I bet I am not the only person who's talking about this moment. How on earth can we keep those colds at bay as we head into the winter season? I'm quite sure, Anna, I can't be the only parent who sent their daughter off to school on day one with a cold. It was a cold, definitely just a sniffle. And it's that time of year where it can feel like an endless stream, quite literally, of colds. Is there anything we can do to prevent them?
Well, in a way, not really. We do get a lot of colds, and it's actually not good for us to not be exposed to any of these viruses. I think as kids have gone back to school, they're suddenly getting exposed to all these things that we've been self-isolating for so long. So it's not the case of not getting as many, but it's like how you react to them and how you can overcome them. So if you get a sniffle for a day, that's much better than having a long drawn out cough and cold that then drags on and, you know, getting a worse reaction to it. So I think we've got to sort of see that it's actually sort of normal to get a couple of colds in a year. It's just when people are getting them all the time, or they're getting them really bad, it starts to make me think that they immune system might not be as strong as it could be. So there are some things that help us, you know, be more resilient, definitely, that we can do, that we can start eating and doing to just help us feel a bit stronger, so we're better able to respond to them. Yeah. So there's a bit about diet, and I think some stuff we can eat, and also things we can do. So I'll talk about food as well, but like sleep is really important, and exercise, fresh air as well, really, really important going into the winter. I mean, there's a couple of like key nutrients that are really important for the immune system that we might not have as much of. One of them is D, and actually we should all start taking it now if you haven't been taking it so far, because in September, even though it's a lush week this week with loads of sun, you can't make vitamin D from your skin because the sun doesn't get high above our heads anymore. It only goes lower in the horizon, which means the radiation isn't as strong and your skin can't make it as well. So that is something that's important because it helps our immune system like stay strong as we're going into the winter. And in the northern hemisphere, we don't get much sunshine, so that's something in terms of supplements that would be useful. But most of the things we can get from our food. So I'd say like vitamin A is really important. We can get that from meat and dairy, but also from orange vegetables. So things like, I don't know, pumpkins, butternut squash, yellow peppers, even orange and yellow melons as well. And they're all really high in beta carotene, which is an antioxidant. And it also helps us. So the vitamin A, again, just strengthens the immune system. So it can be hard if your child is a bit fussy, or, you know, they don't eat certain foods, just to make sure that they're getting vitamin A. And for kids anyway, under 5, it's recommended that they take a vitamin A supplement if they're under 5. So you can be taking that unless they're drinking in the mix, has it in. So yeah, should I just keep rolling through my list of supplements? The 3 that are really important for children that are recommended as supplements are vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin D, and that's under age 5. But you might think that even children who are a bit older, like, that it wouldn't be a bad thing to supplement with them, as we're all like, yeah, really looking to keep our immune system strong. So vitamin C is like, you know, commonly known in vegetables, fresh things. So as well as oranges, strawberries, kiwis, it's also about cauliflower, tomatoes. Spinach is even quite high in vitamin C. So just loads and loads of fruit, just fresh. So really good for vitamin C. Yeah, I think it's just ideally about getting as broad a range of foods as possible that helps us get a really strong immune system, because when we eat really diverse range of foods, then we get a lot of diverse microbes in our gut, and that's really helpful for our immune system. It helps us stay strong and kind of create an environment where the pathogens, the bad bugs, can't get in and don't live as happily. So the good bugs kind of create this nice environment where we can better fight off illness like bacteria or viruses. So we can look after our microbes. Yeah, I mean, I have definitely experienced my children a cough and a cold sort of thing over the weekend, and it just starts again straight away. You think, oh no, everyone's going to have to isolate, but it to sniff. And like I said at the beginning, sometimes it's okay for the body to experience those things, to fight them off and move on. Yeah, but also sleep is really important, which we were talking about this morning in the Mothership, like people struggling with sleep, you know, just whether you can make, you know, prioritize it and find time for your sleep. It's really hard when you're getting woken up by small children, but it might be rest ways, even if it's not proper sleep at night. So making sure then time relaxing, and that's something quite really, really helpful.
Anna, can I just, I'm just coming in there. First of all, to apologise if you saw me making funny mouth shapes, it's because a man appeared at the door just then, and I had to try and do my best ventriloquist impression of, like, it's actually Dougie talking, not me, telling him to leave the signed parcel there. And also, I think my internet is being jittery, so I'll just get all of that stuff out there so that in case my next question is completely daft. But there's so much in what you say there, which is brilliant. Things like, so I'm trying to get the daughter to eat a rainbow of things, but just, when you've got a bad throat, things like honey and lemon, that all works. That's all good stuff to go with, isn't it? Honey, lemon and ginger. I'm doing the right thing when I have that, aren't I?
Yeah, I mean, it's the vitamin C in root, the lemon, which is good, and then honey is quite soothing for the throat. So the vitamin C is good, and that can come from anything. Lemons are high, and then the honey is the soothing thing that's nice. So yeah, that's great. And ginger and garlic are kind of antimicrobial as well, so you can put loads of garlic in your food. Grate ginger into things. Sometimes people make like a little golden milk. It was quite trendy a while ago with turmeric and ginger, with kind of whatever milk you use, because turmeric is also quite anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I found a recipe. I've seen one for that. I've also tried making some elderberry and echinacea syrup, which is currently in the fridge. But I also saw a thing which involved like 20 bits of garlic and things like a horseradish root. So I've just been to my mum's and got her to dig up her horseradish root that I'm going to go and stuff in a jar with a load of onion and goodness knows what else. Am I just creating some sort of potion that is going to make me revolting to be around, or is there merit in that?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Surely no one's just going to want to get near you. The amount of flipping radish and garlic you're eating, that'll ward everyone away, Laura.
Maybe that's how it works. I haven't figured this out yet.
Yeah, to keep everyone back. I mean, garlic, it's really good. Good for circulation as well. So ginger and garlic and any of those like warming vice are good as you go into winter, because they help our circulation. So they're really good to include. And that's the same with horseradish. So perhaps that's why. Yeah, I don't know of any sort of specific properties of horseradish, but there's no harm in eating more vegetables. So if it works, let us know.
I just wanted to pick up on something you said at the beginning, Anna, which I thought was really reassuring, actually, in that getting colds is normal. And because we've all quite literally been in a bubble during lockdown, obviously we weren't connecting, socialising in the same way for good reason. The positive side of that was less bugs were going around, and now that the children are going back to school, they are picking up those colds. So it is reassuring to hear you say that is normal, that is a normal part of childhood, and we don't need to worry about that. It's just sort of learning how to deal with that as well, really, more an observation than anything. I don't know, it's lovely to hear you talk with such enthusiasm for vegetables. I only wish I could have the same level of enthusiasm for my daughters when I serve their dinner. I made the schoolgirl error of serving a courgette bake last night, which, was practically sick burgers. I might as well have been serving them. But the happy byproduct was that tea was so revolting, they both decided to eat an apple. And my daughters have never eaten an apple before in all their lives. It's very hard when you've got children who will just turn their nose up at vegetables. As a mother, rightly or wrongly, I can feel nervous when it comes to serving a meal. And at the same time, I want them to have a variety. What approach do you take when it comes to serving a family meal?
Yeah, my children are not like happily, cramming in vegetables all day long also. So I don't want anyone to think I've got the perfect meals at my table. I very regularly serve things up and they will be like, oh, what's that? Don't want it. My approach has been to just offer one meal, not to offer alternatives if people don't like it. But I do try to offer something that they will eat as part of the meal. So if I know like one of them really likes carrots, but they're not going to like the main necessarily, make sure that there's something that they like. I tend to find if people start to offer alternatives all the time or cook like 3 different meals, you know, you can end up just always creating a lot of work for yourself, but also sort of, I don't know, creating this environment where everyone can just opt out of everything at the dinner table. It's more stressful. So it's fine, you know, you can say, oh, you don't like that, you don't have to eat it or something. I mean, a lot of people with fussy eating have tried to put out a platter of stuff and just allow people to help themselves to it and just keep on offering it and just assume that they will eventually eat the food. I know some people worry about hiding vegetables, but I feel like it's quite a useful tool especially when they're smaller, to blend up stuff into a sauce and put it in. And I will regularly do this with things like courgette, celery, mushrooms. You know, I blend them up before I put the beans or whatever into the sauce, because so there's a base that's just much of stuff with a tin of tomatoes, because you can hide a lot of different vegetables in that. I think as well, when you are doing things like pasta or a curry or something where you're putting sauce in, it's just trying to put, if you have hidden a lot of vegetables in it, put a lot of the sauce into it, so they are actually getting a lot of that rather than just a little bit on top. I mean, it's really tricky, and each family will have their own kind of, you know, culture about how they do things and what's a rule and what, you know, you could do where you like. I suppose it's trying to offer something that they always really like, or that they, you know, is safe, and just keep on offering new foods. And I really find that families who eat together, the children tend to eat more as well of a variety of foods, because it's partly about role modelling and showing that you know, this is just normal food, and just also showing, especially when they're really young, that it's safe food as well. They often look to a parent or carer to guide them in what's acceptable. Trying to sit down and eat together is not always possible with our schedules, but I would encourage it, if you're struggling. And I don't know, it's really hard. Just keep on trying new things, but it's impossible to think of stuff when you're really busy and you've just got half an hour to family meal. I totally, I mean, other things people try is like with really fussy eating, is like little tiny tastes. Oh, sorry, Laura.
No, just on that, and just echoing what Faye was saying, if I think back to yesterday, and I'm saying this to make anyone else feel a bit better, it's a slight diversion from colds, although I do hope that the foods have some cold fending off properties. My daughter would eat baked beans for every single meal if she was given the opportunity, and if I think back to yesterday, she did have baked beans in the morning. I gave her chickpea curry at lunchtime, and then she had baked beans again, because I completely forgot that she had baked beans at breakfast, and she's very happy with that. So I do hope that they're all, I get the low sugar versions, but goodness me, it's so flipping difficult. I can hide what I like in the sauce, but
did she go pop? She must have gone pop at some point.
Well, she might have given herself tummy ache. I've no idea. She can't communicate that to me yet. It's just a nightmare. She just loves them, and doesn't want to. And the funny thing is, what you're saying about copying parents is she also has an inclination to copy her father, who's got very unhealthy eating habits. So she will try all sorts of new foods with him, notably like curry, naan, poppadoms, yet will not want to eat what I have just, stuffed a rainbow of vegetables in. She don't want to know. Nice bit of chicken, not bothered. Did it come out of a great big packet of crisps? Yes, she'll try that. It's like so irritating. Slight diversion, but yeah, there we are. What can you do?
Yeah, it's really hard and frustrating when you've spent ages creating this new thing and then it gets rejected. I know, it's totally frustrating. Yeah. So just encourage them to try a little taste of something, and you can do an age appropriate reward, like whether they bring it to their mouth and just have a tiny taste, or whether they have a tiny mouthful, depending on how bad, I suppose, the fussiness is, or how much you want to push them to eat more new foods. A lot of the time, if you just offer foods, they will find, eat what they need to. It's really hard because we worry about it so much. And sometimes when we stop encouraging them, eventually more.
Can I just ask one speedy
And I'm
question?
guilty of it
about
myself. I'll
vitamin
sit there.
supplements?
Yeah.
Are all supplements equal?
About what?
Are all supplements equal? Are they all
No,
as good as each other?
No, definitely not, I would say. Partly to do with the form of vitamin that they come in. So a lot of the cheap ones that you can buy in Boots or the chemist or supermarkets have got are the sort of cheaper version of that nutrient, which is easier to make or easier to put into a product, but not easier for our body to absorb. So like as an example, vitamin D, which is used to fortify foods. So it will be on the packet of a milk that's fortified with vitamin D, like a plant milk, isn't the best source for us to absorb in terms of how we get into our body. And so that we need D3. And so quite often the expensive brands are better formulated for us to take in. Sometimes they've got cheap sort of fillers and things in as well, you know, depending on how fussy you are about additives and that sort of thing. Sometimes the more expensive brands will be have less of those kind of things in as well. Especially with fish oils, actually, as well. That's fish oils. They're quite often cleaned to make sure they're purified. Sorry.
On the note of vitamins, and you talked about vitamin D earlier, Anna, especially at this time of year when, although we've got, you know, as I speak, there's some really lovely September sunshine, it's just not as much as we need. Do we need to take something else in addition to vitamin D in order for your body to absorb it?
So all of the vitamins and minerals work together, but they have found that people who are low in D are often sometimes low in magnesium, and that is a mineral that we burn through quite a lot when we're stressed and busy. And, you know, as in Freelance Mum, we are all juggling a lot, so it can be quite low. So magnesium you get in green leafy veg and whole grains, basically. But again, it could be a supplement that you would take, and it's easy to put it onto the skin, so you can spray it if you don't like taking supplements, or in an Epsom salt bath. Sometimes people will do that, put it in the bath and absorb it through the skin. Or you can take a supplement of that. It's not essential, but it's just there are associations with people who are low in vitamin D, maybe being low in magnesium. And they all just work together, really. There is nothing there's one thing that you can take which will fix everything. It's about variety. You know, if your children are really fussy, you are really fussy, then maybe a good multivitamin kind of covers all bases, especially this winter. It might be something. Or probiotics as well. So there are some, you know, signs, I suppose, that the immune system strength is supported by really good diverse microbiome in our gut, all these different viruses, parasites and bugs that live in us. And so sometimes taking a good probiotic can be helpful, but it's not essential for everyone, I'd say.
Well, Anna, thank you so much for taking the time to come and join us today at Freelance Mum. I could have had a whole separate subject there on probiotics, if I'm absolutely honest with you. In fact, I'm not even going to wrap. I need to get in my probiotics question. I'm too keen to ask. Probiotics, can you really get everything you need from one of those little drinks? Because you hear so much about them.
No, basically. No, partly because those little, like Yakult or Actimel, they are normally only have one or two strains in them, whereas a good, like, broad spectrum probiotic will have lots of different strains that have really tested for, like, good health, or that are more popular in the gut. So I would say don't rely on those. Partly they're really high in sugar as well, so there's be like 1 or 2 teaspoons of sugar in each little pot, whereas you wouldn't get that. If you want to get it from yogurt, just have a bio or live yogurt that you can get, and that has got live cultures in it as well. And then fermented foods, if you want to do it through foods as well, are good. So sauerkraut or kimchi, kombucha, those things, anything that's got live bacteria would be another good share food.
Brilliant. Well, Anna, listen, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate talking to you. I hope we can all stay as healthy as possible throughout this winter and manage to ward off any bugs. And if in doubt, perhaps we all need to douse ourselves in Laura's potion that she's cooking up at home this afternoon. It's been lovely speaking to you. I've adored having Hey Dougie in the background as well. So thank you for joining us today, Anna. There we go. And that was Anna Mapson there, who joined Laura and I earlier this week as we spoke about what we can do to help keep colds at bay. And I hope that you're all staying as healthy as can be in your freelance mum household. Let me just remind you, of course, that we are meeting this Friday at Ashton Court. In fact, it's not this Friday. This Friday is today. Next Friday at Ashton Court, the 25th of September. And if you haven't joined Freelance Mum before, then you can try us for free for 30 days. And we would absolutely love to see you. You and your children are welcome. We've got some activities that will be taking place socially distanced in 2 different groups of 6 under the trees. And there'll be lots of ways that you can grow you and your business. Now, normally we'd be playing out with the Freelance Mum Anthem. We played it out earlier, but I think, do you know what? I think it's good enough to have a double play. So we'll play this out again because I think this is worthy of a second watch.
If you're jumping or grumping, we're here for you. There's sharing and caring, and yummy cake too. With Faye at the helm of the Mothership, we're all on board for an awesome trip. If you're true to yourself and follow your dream, you'll change the world and break the old routine. Out of the rat race and into the sun, hear us roar, we are Freelance Mum. 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 We are Freelance Mum.
Mummy's my hero. We are good too. Mummy shows me I can follow my dream. She's brave and clever. Sounds like it's fun.
We're so proud to be a part of Freelance Mum.
There we go, a double play of our Freelance Mum Anthem, and I think it's well worth a second look. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the Freelance Mum class assembly. Have a lovely weekend. It's always a joy to see you and to see all the interactions and engagement in the Mothership, and I can't wait to see, excuse me, Jodie Moss, your Tuesday Takeover question as well. So that's it from me. Until this time next week, have a great weekend.